Hello, and welcome to a very special return episode of Wrestling is Her. I'm Raja, your host, and I'm here with my lovely co-host, John.
Hello.
And we are back in action after a little break over the holidays.
Just a little bit. Just a tiny bit of a break.
It was a very busy season and a very crazy season, and it has been even wilder given all the stuff that is happening right now for women in wrestling. It's just has exploded
It has been
at the beginning of this year.
Oscar Wilder. It's been crazy. It's been Gene Wilder. It's been Young Frankenstein. It's been everything. We've been trying our best to come back.
Yes.
And we have been trying to find that perfect moment. That perfect fleeting moment. Mm-hmm. You know, a split second of divinity.
Yes, it has to work for real life. It has to work in wrestling terms.
Yeah.
It just had to come together perfectly.
Everything, because we want to bring you the show, and we want to bring it to you weekly. We want to bring it to you consistently.
Absolutely.
At the same time.
And we are ready for that now.
We are ready for that. We are trying to do this for the good of the show. But boy, howdy, as you would say.
Yes.
Did we come back on a dinger of hums.
Oh my goodness. The state of women's wrestling right now is just insane. There's so much good stuff happening and so much to be excited about.
Yes.
So I think we kind of just need to jump right in the deep end of the pool here.
I'm holding my nose and ready to pounce.
So let's talk first about the really cool storyline currently going on in WWE with the women, specifically the Damage Ctrl storyline.
It's very cool.
We last visited them on the show. It was after War Games when Bayley was doing everything she could possibly do to help her team.
Yes.
And coming up short. And that just kind of proliferated through the entire storyline. She's constantly like coming up with plans. She's like, the Kabuki Warriors are going to be tag champs. That happened.
Right.
I'm going to win the Royal Rumble. That happened.
Yes.
I'm going to challenge Rhea Ripley. Well, that didn't happen.
No.
This past week on SmackDown, just a few days ago, we had a bit of a turnaround because Bayley, apparently, because all of her very close friends are Japanese, has clearly been brushing up a little bit on the language. And because of that, she is very aware of everything that Io and Asuka and Kairi have been saying about her behind her back. Not to mention the fact that they just said, tonight Bayley's gone, like in perfect English, like right in front of her.
They did say that. So
Bayley is no longer the leader of this faction that she created and brought back with her. This thing that she has been cultivating, these friends she thought she had, is completely gone because they didn't think she had what it took, I guess, to be part of their group. She was an outsider to them. So they kicked her out, they beat her up, and she decided she will be seeing Io Sky at WrestleMania.
Absolutely.
And I love it.
That's where we wanted to go with it. And, you know, it's a hell of a storyline.
It is.
If you've not seen the movie, we say she 13th warriored them.
She did.
If you see the obscure action movie from 1999, just know this. It was an actual much better blockbuster. It was epic and it was incredible. And they filmed all these things for it for a very long time. And then a new person took it over and edited it down to like 88 minutes. It's still spectacular based on a book, which is based on true stuff. So It's very good. But in that, really quick, I had to tell you all that to tell you this. Our main little Arab there, he is hanging out with some Northmen.
Yes.
And as he sits around the fire with them night after night, going through the trenches, going through the wilds, he watches them as they talk, as they laugh, as they're probably joking about him and his small horse.
Yes.
And eventually he says something like, your mother smells of elderberries. And they're all looking at him like, how do you know about elderberries? And he's like, oh, I eat them too. No, he listened to their language, and that's what she said. She's like, I listened.
She basically just picked it all up.
Yes.
And I mean, you would, if you were around it, like you would try to understand what they were saying.
You and I can almost speak Japanese.
Yeah, just from listening to
from
it
the
constantly.
sheer amount of Joshi that we watch. I almost said Yoshi.
Yeah, absolutely.
We watch a lot of Yoshi.
We do, though.
Yeah, actually, yeah, we do.
We're a Mario family.
Yes.
We're also a 13th Warrior family.
Yes,
so
we are.
we're very passionate about it.
Good
And this
stuff.
storyline was just so nice. And I'm so excited to see Bayley versus Io Sky at WrestleMania. And of course, we discussed the possibility of the storyline heading in a direction where Bayley's alone and she doesn't have anyone to support her anymore. And a certain someone maybe comes back and is like, I've always been there for you and
Yeah.
I'll support you.
Yeah, I mean, so that's the thing, right? That's still out there.
It is.
So
Still up in the air.
we still don't know. Is Sasha still going to return, or is Mercedes going to debut?
Yes.
And we have no idea which way that goes. Now, which way, it has ups and it has downs on either side, right? The only down on either side is that you don't get her.
Yeah.
Yeah, or-
don't get to see her at all.
Right. That would be the down. Everything's ups. Everything is aces. And as we've said before, whatever company would land Mercedes, they would be getting a generational talent. They would be getting someone so marketable that you can basically Atlas her and put the world on her shoulders and let her really take you to another level of stardom.
Absolutely.
No pun intended, actually, that time. But, I really believe that. I believe she's that good. And I believe she proved that when she went to Stardom
Yeah.
and just instantly, through the roof.
Oh, yeah. Just completely a whole new level of fan
the
base.
fandom all just followed her. She is the equivalent in pro wrestling of Taylor Swift.
Yes, she is. I agree with that.
And her fan base is very much Swifties.
Yes, and the only sad world is a world in which we don't get to be entertained in some fashion by Mercedes Moné or Sasha Banks.
Yeah, or Sasha Banks.
Whoever she decides to be.
We'll find out where that money lies very soon. But yeah, that could be the story.
Yes.
To have her there. Or if it's not, it's a great story as is.
It is, yeah. It's great either way. And this moment with Bayley and Damage Ctrl was the absolute highlight of SmackDown, and nothing at all overshadowed it on that night. It was great.
I don't remember anything else that would have buried that.
Or made it less. No, not at all.
I don't. Something else though that might happen is Julia, which we're 99.9% sure is coming to WWE.
Pretty sure about that.
Pretty sure. I mean, we know she's going somewhere.
Yes, she made it clear that she's leaving Stardom.
She's leaving Stardom.
In March.
She is going somewhere. So leaving in March, you can totally be there for Mania. So would she be a Damage Ctrl type person? Would she be a fourth Japanese person?
Right. You got to think so, that's the thinking.
And if so, that's something that's interesting.
It is.
So, I mean, it's, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, another person who you just want to see go somewhere. You just want to be able to see them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wrestle somewhere.
Absolutely. She's another one of that level, honestly.
Yes, she is. So over on the AEW side of things, there have been some really crazy, exciting things happening in their women's division there. Just in this year alone, in the past month, we got to see Mariah May finally debut at the beginning of the year, and she has been doing fantastically in every match that she's had so far. We signed Deonna Purrazzo, the Virtuosa. Just complete shock and awe on that after Mariah's debut with her coming out. And she has been doing absolutely amazing.
Right. Yeah.
And I love seeing her every week. And this story she has going with Toni Storm and the title is so good.
The story is so good.
And just the connections because of the real life friendship that they had and everything they went through together is just so good.
Absolutely. And they are also, other than signing Deonna, which who would have even seen that really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was on the radar, but Tony Khan had said, hey, I'm going to make a big, huge push in that direction in 2024. And Mariah May, her first couple of matches, amazing.
Fantastic.
She really translated. And
she did.
I was worried about that. Not that I doubted anything about her, but you never know.
Yeah, when you're going from one system to a completely different system, there's always going to maybe be hiccups. So you never know.
Absolutely. But, there has been, and there's a lot coming off injury. We're going to have Britt back soon. We'll have Jamie back.
Yes.
Jamie Hayter will be tearing it up. I mean,
I'm
there's
so
so
excited.
much talent. Of course, you always have Athena. You always have Billy
Yeah.
Starr. All these wonderful women, right? And some of the changes that have been made,
Yeah.
have also been amazing.
Yeah, they have.
At the same time. So, I mean, there's a lot of good, but, one signing that has definitely been turning heads quite a
man.
bit without any wins.
Yeah, no, just being out there, she's obviously a star.
Going to the point of you don't have to go over to get over.
Exactly. And of course, we're talking about Queen Aminata,
Yes.
who is actually who Mariah had her debut match against.
Mm-hmm.
But she's been wrestling on Dynamite, on Rampage, on Collision, on Ring of Honor, just completely going out there, doing the work. And her moveset is so clean and so amazing. And she's vicious and she's funny. And she's got this charisma about her.
Yeah, man.
And then every time we see that she's going to be in a match, we're like, the
she's-
queen.
Yeah, she's totally a star.
She is in every sense of the word.
So I think that we got another solid worker in AEW.
Absolutely. And we saw the returns of Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb.
Oh, Serena
year.
Deeb is tearing it up.
She's just amazing.
What the hell's happening?
I don't know,
Because
but
Serena Deeb, in her return,
everything's on fire.
it was in New Orleans, right? So
Yes.
she made her big return there and in New Orleans, and my God, that crowd,
Oh man, the Bossier City crowd.
that
Shh.
that crowd went
All the Louisiana people were
Yeah.
crazy for both shows. Just crazy.
just doing the Deeb with the punches,
she's so good.
and they were totally over on it, and it was good stuff. I mean, honestly, that momentum, you got a couple of really great veterans. You got a lot of young talent.
Yeah, and you've even got this like storyline with Chris and Willow wanting to be like this great team this year. They were like, we're going to do amazing things this year, but you got Stokely like tacked on there on
And
the
we're
side.
getting, in some of the shows, we're getting 2 women's matches per show.
Yeah, and amazing women's matches with Red Velvet, and then you've got the Outcasts doing their fun stuff over on Rampage.
They're still there, yeah.
They're with Harley, and it's and Anna Jay like being just done with everyone.
Stories
All
everywhere.
over the place. You got Sky Blue and Julia Hart out there being spooky.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just crazy.
It is crazy, and they're all stories.
Yeah.
I mean, there are stories everywhere.
Absolutely.
It's almost good enough to have a women's show.
Yeah. I mean, we have totally enough stars now to
Yeah.
craft an hour-long show
Yeah,
of all
absolutely.
women. I even want to shout out like CJ Perry, who we saw like help her husband finally
Yeah.
beat Andrade, and Shayna Wayne coming in with the
Right.
patriarchy doing just an amazing job
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
that place. Like
Absolutely.
the women, and Lexi Nair and Renee Paquette killing it every week.
Oh
just
my God.
crazy stuff.
Lexi Nair is the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, we know how great Renee is. And
Professional.
When Renee is given a chance to also be funny, she is funny as can
Yes,
be.
with Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends, just beautiful.
Lexi can also play straight,
Mm-hmm.
but if you watch Ring of Honor, if you don't watch Ring of Honor, you're missing a tremendous amount of women's wrestling.
Oh yeah, it's like crazy amounts of women's wrestling on Ring of Honor.
Every week after week, and it's anchored by Her Highness herself, the real queen of all of us.
Yes, Athena.
Yes. And so give it a watch because they do a lot of interesting things on there.
Yes, and they just announced at the beginning of the year that they have created a Ring of Honor women's TV title, which will be contested in an upcoming tournament soon. So there's going to be a lot of women's action leading up to that to see who gets it.
Absolutely. I think Tony Khan has listened to any kind of criticisms there were, but I honestly believe that he probably was working toward all this, and there's been nothing but setbacks for that company since it started. You had the pandemic right after. They were rolling, they were hot, and every place was going, and now it's starting to pull up some momentum again.
Absolutely,
it's almost like they got a stinger pulled out of their butt, and
they're finding their stride,
and the venom is kind of
they're recovering,
laxed, and we're starting to have fun
Yeah,
So,
everything feels fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's always a good time. There's always something to laugh at and like just enjoy, and the wrestling is top tier. So
yeah, so good stuff. So check it out.
And honestly, if you're a fan of Nyla Rose on Twitter, or like just love her personality,
Yeah.
you need to watch Ring of Honor right now,
Jesus
because she's
Lord.
over there doing fantastic
One of the
things.
greatest promos of the year so far.
Yeah,
Jesus.
just crazy. So women's wrestling has been exploding, clearly. Like,
has.
there's all the stuff that's happening right now is good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm happy with all of it.
2024 is off to a fantastic start.
We even got to see like some cool things, like the debut of the Great Sakuya in Japan, which is Great Muda's daughter.
Yes.
And that was so fun to watch.
Yeah.
She was amazing.
That was great.
And we saw Julia in America again back in January, where she defended the strong belt against Trish Adora, which was a great match. So we've just gotten to see so much fun stuff in the span of a month.
Oh, yeah.
At the beginning of 2024.
Absolutely. It's been insane, of course, because of, the time of year.
Yeah.
You have the 1-4 in there.
Oh, Eaton Yon.
And yes, Eaton Yon. And which
was fun.
Which produced one of the matches of the year.
Yes, Mayu Iwatani versus Shiri for the IWGP Women's title was such a fantastic match.
It was.
Just a different pace entirely.
It was. It felt like, because just before that, Julia disbanded Donna Del Mondo.
Like, literally right before the main event.
It felt like that was added in. Now, I can't tell you for a fact that's the case, but it did feel like we were running long, because it was time for
Wrestle Kingdom
to start. And, these people were going to have to run across the street to go to Wrestle Kingdom.
If they had tickets for both of these shows, they were going to have to get out soon.
They almost certainly did have tickets for both. And, so they were going to have to get out of there. So we were faced with a shorter amount of time, I believe.
It did feel very rushed, but not in a bad way.
No, it's just exciting. I mean, you went pretty much, you're like 5 minutes in going to Double Down. I mean, it's, and then this hell of a 30-minute finish.
But you've got two of the best in there going at it. And these two know how to put on an entertaining match.
Absolutely. It's almost like they took the handcuffs off of Mayu Iwatani.
They were like, okay, just go.
And, I even noticed someone we follow on Twitter there, and if you don't follow Scotty Wrestling, you need to.
He's like the authority.
If you're a fan of Joshi whatsoever, you need to follow Scotty and read his articles and everything, because it's informative.
Yeah.
It's just
all the information you could ever need.
Just informative. It's really easy to keep up with, because otherwise it's hard to be in that fandom. We have a few places that we look at, and we know now, where to drive to find the information we need to find, but that's a great starting point.
Yeah.
And, even him, I noticed, was talking about Mayu Iwatani this year.
Oh, it just feels different.
Having some bangers, and I really feel that. And when we get into the meat and potatoes of the pay-per-view that we're going to cover today, that, for us in real time happened last night.
Yes.
Early this morning, however you want to put it. There was some exciting things that happened, and makes us very excited about the year of Stardom that's coming up.
Yes. So Stardom has had a huge beginning of the year. We're just going to talk real quick about some of the big changes that have happened since the last time we recorded, such as some new rookie debuts with Rana Yagami and Sayaka Kurara, who are both just little stars right out of the gate.
Right off the bat.
It's just so fun to see the talent that's coming in.
We knew where Rana was going to go, and we honestly
obvious.
We named where all of them were going to go when we first seen them.
Yes,
as rookies.
Yeah,
and it's so funny that I believe we were right on every so far.
It would have been hard to predict Hanako's because it was very off the out of the box.
It was, but we kind of placed her with some people. So
yes,
it was,
which made sense.
Yeah, but Rana just was made.
Absolutely. Tailor-made for God's Eye.
Made. 100% in a lab was made for God's Eye.
Yeah.
And, that made all the sense in the world. So
yes. And since we last recorded, Micah became the red belt champion. Sariano won the white belt off of Mirai,
My God.
which is just like a complete change of
Oh, yeah.
the top belts. I mean,
Absolutely.
crazy stuff. We already mentioned on the 4th, Julia disbanding, Donna Del Mondo just saying that they'd gone as far as they could go and completely getting rid of the group. It's just everyone's factionless now.
Yeah, and we have theories for that. I mean, she knew she was on her way out.
Of course.
And this gives her a chance to team with Suzuki.
Which she's been doing on every show pretty much.
Yeah, so obviously...
And having the time of her life, it seems like.
Yeah, obviously that's healed up a little bit.
Yes, so on the 6th of January, we got to see 2 very fun rumbles to determine the first defenses for both the World and Wonder of Stardom titles, which ended up being Saya Kamitani for the World of Stardom belt and Starlight Kid for the Wonder of Stardom belt. Both amazing picks for the winners of those rumbles.
As we'll get into.
Yes. We saw Yuzuki join Stars on January 14th. On the second night in Osaka. She basically said, I look up to Mayu Iwatani so much and I want nothing more than to follow her and learn from her, so please let me join Stars. And I think Mayu was very touched.
Yeah,
by
absolutely.
that.
And there's a lot of people very high on Yuzuki.
Oh, yeah.
You know, basically it's has to do with, you know, she kind of looks the part, right?
She does.
She has everything that you want for the Stardom girl, and
she's right there.
Yeah, she absolutely. We were upset. The fandom in us was upset when Yuzuki won the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want the Rookie of the Year on their team, honestly? But we were really rooting for Hanako to win it.
Hanako deserved it, man.
After her year of hard work as the only young girl in Stardom, like, it just seemed natural, like a natural pick.
It seemed like the natural pick, but if anything, I believe it was good now because it put a fire in her ass.
Oh, absolutely.
And Hanako has been completely different since that happened.
Yeah.
I think once you take someone's heart out and crush it, you know, it does something to them.
Yeah,
So,
it does. It turned her. She was mad.
Yeah,
obviously, and very mad at
She's
Yuzuki.
had some really good fire. All the rookies are freaking amazing.
They are. Like a couple of nights later on the 20th, that's when Rana joined God's Eye officially.
Right.
So right now, currently, Sayaka Kurara is the only one that's not in a faction, and we have our thoughts of where we think she would fit. I mean, clearly she has very Cosmic Angels vibes.
Yeah.
She might end up in this new faction, maybe Queen's Quest. We don't know, but she does feel very Cosmic Angels.
She seems Cosmic Angel to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
she's very magical girl energy. I mean,
she does, but she's also, you know, she's also very little daylight in her stuff.
She's mean in the ring.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, she looks cute and
Yeah.
frilly, but when she gets in there, it's like, watch out for the spear and everything
She goes
else.
from frilly to killy real quick. And
she does, yes.
of course, I don't know what's going on with her because she did miss our pay-per-view.
She did.
And she was supposed
she's
to,
all right.
I hope she's okay too. She might be a little banged up though. I haven't got a word on that.
Yeah. And on that same night, on January 20th, we saw the formation of a brand new faction
Yay.
in Stardom, which has been named E-Nexus V, or Empress Nexus Venus, which essentially means the connection or central core between Micah, the Empress, and Mina, the Venus. So they're kind of like co-heads of this new faction, EXV, and it's Micah, Mina, Hanako, Waka Tsukiyama, and Xena, who's back after a little hiatus away from Stardom, but she was an original Club Venus member, so Mina brought her back in to be part of EXV. So we've got a nice round 5-person stable here starting up, and it's very interesting.
Oh yeah, it's good. If anything, I would have went with E-Nexus V. I would have totally called them Envy, but it's okay.
The E and V would have been fun.
Yeah.
But the EXV, like, it's like E by V, so
right.
It makes sense, and I love that they're kind of working together. And I know Micah has, like, she's long been a number 2 over in Donna Del Mondo. That's the only faction she's ever been in Stardom, like, since she started. So it's kind of new for her not to be in DDM. But now she gets a chance to be a leader and to see how she handles that pressure and where they take it from here.
Heck, the only thing I wish is that they had went just full leader.
Yeah.
You know, they went with the combination leadership and I don't know how that's going to work.
I don't either. I imagine, I mean, right now, Micah's the red belt champion, so she's a clear number one in the whole company. But I feel like maybe it's going to switch out, like, depending on the situation.
I don't think Shirakawa wakes up thinking that Micah's number one.
Probably not. No.
You know?
Mina thinks she's right there on level footing.
Yeah, so that's the whole thing I'm talking about is I would have probably made that. Of course, you had to dissolve Club Venus to do this.
Yes, which we saw coming. Club Venus has kind of been not really a faction since most of the people in it left.
Right.
So we were like, maybe they'll go back to Cosmic Angels.
Right.
But this is a cooler direction. I love having a brand new faction that you get to see the formation of, and like 5 years down the line, you're going to be like, oh, EXV.
Yeah, I mean, they were, you know, there was a few questions until we saw them come on stage the first time.
Yeah.
And that looked amazing.
Yeah, like I'm excited to see like what kind of gear they end up with, what kind of style they're all about.
This
like,
one over here is a nerd.
What their branding
She's
looks
like, I can't wait to see the logo.
I would just want to know it all.
So, yeah.
Every faction just has their thing, and I just want to know what that's going to be.
Yeah, well, they're just getting their identity right now.
They are, yes. And it's a cool identity. We got Waka and Hanako, like, talking about going after the New Blood tag belts already and all that good stuff. And Mina challenging Mayu Iwatani for the IWGP Women's Championship because she wants a belt.
That's going to be a violent match.
Just like Micah, because she's also a leader here.
Such a violent match.
Oh, man. And the fact that they announced that match is going to be happening at New Beginning in Sapporo.
Yes.
On February 23rd is
Which is
crazy.
Not listed on the schedule for that event, which makes me mad.
Put it on there. Put it on the schedule.
Yeah, it's not listed on the official NJPW1972.com schedule, so.
All right. So before we go down the list of what's coming up, let's talk about this pay-per-view that we just saw.
Let's talk about it.
Because it was amazing. Just a complete return to what we're used to seeing in Stardom pay-per-views.
Good 4-hour show.
So exciting. And of course, we're talking about the Stardom 13th anniversary show, Stardom Supreme Fight in Osaka from February 4th. And we started this off with 2 pre-show matches, beginning with Rana Yagami, Hanako, Ruaka, and Mai Sakurai in a 4-way match.
Yes.
And that's just good fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mai Sakurai's hilarious.
Always.
Ruaka just trying to like bully everyone.
Yeah.
Hanako doing her big girl stuff, and then Rana in there being a little badass. But of course, Mai Sakurai here is the veteran. She's gonna take over everybody, which she did. Essentially.
Yeah, she did, and there was some fun little spots in there. You got to get a little bit more familiar with, you know, like some of Rana's stuff. And
yes.
Everybody's familiar with Hanako already, but it was fun, man. I mean, like you said, Mai Sakurai, she is freaking funny.
She is. She's just so much fun. I love her character so much. The second pre-show match was Hanan and Saya Ida Wingori against Ami Sourei and Saki Kashima. And of course, this is stemmed from this story where Hanan got a pin over Ami Sourei, and she is not happy about that.
Right.
So she's been desperately trying over the past few weeks to get that pin back over Hanan, and she just cannot do it because, I mean, Hanan got the pin over Saki in this match. So Ami Sourei is still out here like, I need to get that 1, 2, 3 on Hanan, and I think it's going to lead to a singles match.
Oh, of course. But I don't know how that's going to go for Ami Sourei because, look, man, Hanan may have surpassed you.
She's been on this meteoric rise.
I believe Hanan surpassed a lot of people.
Yeah, she jumped right up there ever since Tag League.
I mean, your girl, she got to, you know, hang out with Mariah May a little bit. Mariah May gave her like the rub.
Confidence, really.
And from that, and we all had a lot of fun watching Hanan, you know, being sexy Dynamite Princess and all this. But something happened. Something happened from sweet little, you know, smiley Hanan.
Yeah.
During that whole thing, and it was strange and weird, and there's been some weird non-feuds go on with her.
Oh yeah, the whole thing between her and Mei Seira was so strange. Like it started at New Blood, and then they just kept going at each other in matches.
Killing each other.
Angry stuff.
But nothing ever came of it.
Yeah, there was no match or anything.
Yeah, nothing ever came of it. So now we're like, Jesus Christ, were they actually mad at each other?
They just really hate each other.
But you know, regardless, Hanan has really turned it on. She has grown leaps and bounds.
She just looks like a star.
She exudes confidence. She does look like a star.
Mm-hmm.
She's one of the taller, bigger girls in Stardom
so she can rival Ami Sourei.
Yeah, and go worldwide easily.
Yeah.
So I think the world is in Hanen's hands right now.
Yeah, she's definitely getting to that level where it wouldn't be a surprise to see her beat Ami Sourei
What
one-on-one.
is she, 20?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's so young, but she's such a star. Like, it exudes out of her at this point. The main card started when we saw Yuzuki versus Rina for the Future of Stardom title. And Rina is another one. Like,
it's so funny.
That family.
So Hanen's obviously little sister, twin sister of Hina.
Yes.
But Rina is the evil little bastard of the bunch.
The pink devil.
The pink devil of Oedo Tai. And, Rina is one of those that really won us over. I mean, and we've also seen her growth.
Yes, just watching her wrestle, you get won over. But listening to her talk, it just seals the deal even more.
She has a personality.
She does. She has a lot of attitude and swagger, and she's just good fun.
Yeah, she really is. And so this, we were worried about this as far as worried about her losing the strap.
Yes, absolutely.
But the reason is because she's so ready to bust out. And in recent events,
she's had a lot more.
Rina has been the one that lasted. Rina has been the one getting eliminations.
Yeah, she was eliminating people in that Wonder of Stardom Rumble. Like,
we thought she
left
might
and
win.
Right. Yeah,
I mean,
I was surprised.
She eliminated several people.
She did.
And, that's a big deal.
It is.
So, and it just seemed like that she's been the one that's like, oh, are they positioning her?
Yeah, it's not that we were so much worried that she would lose to Yuzuki. It's that we were like, maybe she's ready for more and it's time for her to drop this belt. But at the same time, she's so close to beating her sister's record holding this belt.
I guess I should qualify that statement. That's what we were worried about. We want her to beat this,
Yes, and after the match, when she won, she looked out of the ring at Hanen, who was seconding Yuzuki, who's a Stars member, and kind of gave her the I got the belt still.
Yeah. So she'll definitely get the record.
She did, and also Rina did try to shake hands with Yuzuki after this match, but Yuzuki was like, I don't want any of that.
Yeah, very strange.
Smacked her in the hand.
But we have a theory on that anyway. We have fun with.
Yes, and Rina finished this match with like a beautiful gory bomb. By the way, just beautiful.
Absolutely.
The next match, we saw Momo Watanabe and Natsuko Tora defeat Lady C and Miyu Amasaki.
Somewhat of a nothing match.
Very much a nothing match, just somewhere to put like XL on the card somewhere.
And that also got us talking about the fact that Oedo Tai, other than the weird tendencies lately with handshakes and stuff like that, they seem lost.
They do.
Oedo Tai does seem like... And I don't know if you want your main heel faction to be lost.
No, like ever since we got through the tag title match where they lost to Queen's Quest and it kind of put an end to that whole feud that they had been going through, they haven't really picked up anything new.
They don't feel like a threat.
They don't really have anything to do right now.
They don't feel like a threat at all.
They don't.
And they don't have any direction. So we need to fix that hopefully soon.
Hopefully. We need some Oedo Tai story. The next match was the Tam Nakano return match, where we saw Tam Nakano and Yuna Mizumori team up to defeat Mina Shirakawa and Waka Tsukiyama. So this was a very emotionally charged match because of the history between these four people, with Mina and Waka having been in Cosmic Angels and then branching off to do their own thing. There's been some very heated matches between Tam and Mina in the past because of that relationship. But this match was very much like, see if Tam still got it, but let's attack her injured knee anyway.
Right, absolutely.
Let's just go after it.
And Tam being Tam was able to expertly sell like she was going to die at any moment.
Yes.
But
she got to that place.
Yeah. And she got the little looks. The facials that only Tam can have.
Oh, I missed her.
Yes, she tammed all over the place, and she, did the little eye movements that say so much.
Yeah.
So it was beautiful.
It was, and the fact that they all shared a moment after the match, and Waka's like over there crying as always.
And Tam was the award winner again for Tokyo Sports last year.
Yes. For good reason.
Yeah. So, I mean, and if you think about it, it's funny because we put over like Julia and we put over all these people, and oh my God, match of the year candidate, talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe I didn't mention this earlier, but Julia and Megan Bayne.
Oh my gosh. Do we have to talk about Megan Bayne? I'm so sad about it still.
So Megan is on her way back to AEW.
Yes.
But Megan, you talk about growth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we will talk about Megan Bayne really quick. You talk about growth. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Megan Bayne went from being just a killer that comes in, if you remember, Tommy brought her in. Never really went nowhere with that, but Utami's like, look who I found in my luggage.
I brought her back from America.
She's big. She thinks she's Greek.
She wants to belt,
Yeah, but she comes in and she does the killer stuff.
Yeah, it's like very like big boot strikes F5.
Right. And we had a fun relationship build with her and Maysara.
Oh, and Suzu.
It was so much fun to end the year with. We had house show after house show, and if you watch all of them, you got to see this all develop, and it was a lot of fun. It was fun just having May scream at the top of her lungs when Megan would throw her over on a bunch of people, and
just transitioning to May, like excitedly jumping around when it was time to get thrown.
And
it was great.
There was times it felt like, Megan and Maysara and Micah and Suzuki would be a faction,
Yeah, like when Megan and Micah started teaming together, it felt like the most natural thing in the world.
Right. And it looked that way.
It did look that way.
They were a great tag team, and we did great things with them as well.
Yeah.
And the thing was, Megan had a hell of a match with Tam.
She did.
Just a hell of a match.
Right off the bat.
But it was like, if anybody worried about that being a one-off, we had listen, Megan Bayne versus Julia.
Oh my goodness.
Should be studied.
It was so good.
It was great, and it once again showed something about Megan Bayne. Megan Bayne has all the reasons and all the, she has all the reasons to not work hard.
Yeah.
She looks amazing. She's a powerhouse. She's a giant.
Right.
She can do 3 moves and a hair flip, and she's exactly fine,
Yeah.
completely serviceable. But that's not what she does.
No.
And she tells a hell of a story. It takes a while to get her down. But when you do, man, Jesus, it's just great.
Yeah. And she and Julia work together so well.
Yeah.
That they can just make magic the moment they're in the ring together.
If we never get Julia versus Megan Bayne again,
so sad.
The world will be robbed.
It would be, yes. And she had her last night in Stardom on the 21st at the Stardom Award Night 2, where she got to team with Micah and Hanako against Maysara, Suzuki, and Julia, which was a great match, but also very emotional.
Very emotional.
Oh, it was a great night, though. And I'm excited to see where she goes from here and what she brings to the women's division when she gets back. It's going to be insane. Like the insanity we've already been seeing, just upped tenfold.
Absolutely up tenfold. I can't wait to see how they debut her myself. That's going to be great.
Yeah.
But, back to Tam. Tam is going to do Tam things, it looks like. And, she's back, but that gives another layer of top-notch, top of the page, top of the card, performer back in Stardom. So
which we need.
It's wonderful for Stardom.
Yes.
Because this year right now, looks like it's going to be amazing.
Oh, just one for the record books, honestly. After that, we got to see a high-speed title match between Maysara and Hazuki. And then...
So crazy.
My God, these two working together. Like, coming into this, it was like Hazuki's insane high-speed title record where she's never been beat in a singles high-speed title match because she lost her belt in a 3-way and was never pinned. And then you've got Maysara out here who's been doing amazing things as the champion, trying to get to that.
Coming out with, she always writes something on her wrist, and it said in English this time, I can do it.
Yeah, it was so cute.
She, honestly, May always looks so nervous at the first of her matches.
She does. She looks like she's about to barf.
At the big matches. Mm-hmm. And this was one of those. And Hazuki gave this her all. It was an incredible match.
The speed and intensity combination in this match was like, it made you want to hold your breath the entire time it was going.
Absolutely. There, some of the sequences that they went through, it never slowed down.
Mind-blowing.
It never got less intense. There is a moment in this match when Hazuki has Meisera in a submission, a number of different submissions.
It kept getting worse.
You got like cross faces, you've got all this stuff. And you know, when you roll back into the middle of the ring, when someone almost makes the ropes, you get maybe 2 of those sometimes, and then it's done. They pass out or something.
They tap.
Oh my God. This was just one of those where we were like, yeah, it's done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great on Hazuki. She must be wanting this. And,
we were sure.
Holy crap, this is crazy.
Yeah, it got to the point where she had every single one of May's limbs trapped.
Yeah.
Every single one. Like, how are you going to get to the rope at that point?
It was incredible. The match itself goes to the time limit.
It did. It went completely to a time limit draw. And the whole time it was very much felt like Hazuki, like, oh, can you keep up with me, May? Let's see what you can do. And then after the match ended, she was just like, good job, you did it.
Yeah. I mean, she gave her the props. She gave Meisera her flowers after this, and it was pretty amazing. I mean, I think this honestly elevates May.
Oh yeah, like this shows just what May is capable of in a high competition match. It makes me even more excited when she finally breaks through that Azumi threshold, because I want to see that match so bad.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I hope she keeps the title that long and is able to face Azumi.
Yeah, me too.
Then we saw the anniversary match, which was just one of their all-star jam-packed multi-man matches that they love to put on and are always just crazy.
This was so good.
So this was Suzu Suzuki, Mirai, Shuri, and Julia, basically like old DDM plus Suzu Suzuki, versus Azumi, Nanai Takahashi, Utami Hayashishita, and Mayu Iwatani, which are some hefty names.
Yeah, it's like a who's who.
Yeah, absolutely. And you think about multi-mans in other federations and you're like, oh, they're just having this to like get some time in. They're just going to do a few spots. It's fine.
Get somebody on the show.
Right. Yeah, it's just packing people in there. That's not how it works in Japan.
No,
Especially in Stardom. When you have a match like this, even on like the award shows when they had like the Stardom Originals 8-man with 8 of the people that had come up and had their start in Stardom. It was crazy. Like every time you see one of these 8-mans that are just look randomly thrown together teams,
right?
You need to stop and be like, okay, we need to watch that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, they put a lot into it, and everybody has their own spots. I mean, and it's not like everybody stops in the corner and waits for you to do your spot like some places.
No.
Everybody keeps working the whole time. It's intricate. It's amazing. And
yeah, and you even see stories come out of this.
Yeah.
Like the whole match, we had Shiri and Nanai going at each other because they're just in this passion party, as Tekla called it.
Right.
And it's so funny. We saw things in this match like a double Tower of Doom out of the opposite corners.
Insane.
I was afraid they were going to run into each other.
I thought Azumi was dead on that.
And like Mayu doing the thing where she's launched into the corner,
which
right
is
into
always
Suzu's
fun.
face.
Yeah.
But with these 8 people, you got to think about like the people who are in this match, like Nanai Takahashi and the Stardom Icon and Shiri and Utami. And it's just the heart and soul of Stardom being left out in the ring.
But let me ask you, towards the end of this match, Suzu Suzuki took an incredible amount of punishment.
She did. So much. She
And
took the pin.
She did. Now, remind me, what did Suzu Suzuki win last year?
The 5-star Grand Prix.
Right, okay. And then she was penciled in, allegedly,
Right.
to, win the belt.
Yes, when Tam Nakano still had it.
Right.
That was the original plan.
That was the original plan. That got changed, as things might get changed sometimes. And then she had to wrestle her way back into the match with Maika.
Right. She had to wrestle Hazuki to get back, just to give it a chance for the belt.
And then she lost to Maika, who Maika had really, turned the faucets on during that whole time.
She did, yes.
And, but So we had Suzu that had such momentum.
Mm-hmm. Just crazy amounts.
Crazy momentum. And it seems like right now, holy crap.
What happened?
Like, where is she right now? Because she's not only lost in the mix, not really angling for any title.
Right.
And now she's getting destroyed at the end of this.
Yeah. I mean, it is getting destroyed by Mayu Iwatani, but at the same time, like, it just felt very definitive. I don't know. Like,
it did.
Because it was not just like one quick move. It was like, let me kick you in the face. Let me do a moonsault. Let's do the arm trap suplex, you know.
It's almost like, somebody is when they're doing the honors.
Yeah. But, I mean, she's been having a good time lately, teaming with Julia and doing their thing.
Yeah, who's also on her way out.
That's very true. She is.
Just saying.
It is odd to see where Suzu is now compared to where we believed she was going to be at this point. And with, like, the Cinderella coming up and stuff, it'll be interesting to see how she factors in to things moving forward.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't be surprised if she's done.
If she kind of just falls off to the bottom.
If she goes somewhere.
Oh, you think she's out?
I'm thinking she might be with all this.
Oh, I would hate that.
I mean,
I would hate to see it.
Like she's went, and who could blame her though?
Right, after everything.
Yeah.
I mean, she was even slated to have a tag team title match again with May, but then that didn't end up happening because she got sick or something.
Yeah.
And she wasn't able to fight, so it's just one thing after the other.
I mean, I don't know. We wish her the best no matter what, but this is pure speculation. It's just from the outside looking in, that was very definitive loss.
It was in a very good match, honestly.
Yes, very good match. Very good match.
Ridiculous match.
But, I would beat Nene Takahashi. You know what I mean? Like, somebody that's not going to matter.
Right, or Azumi.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, Azumi matters, but she's among the mix of these people.
Yeah.
Even Mirai could have taken the pin, honestly. Like, that's... I don't know.
Yeah, I got you.
It could have gone anyway.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the two big matches of the night, starting with the semi-main event where we saw the Wonder of Stardom title defended by Saori Anou against Starlight Kid. And from the moment these two got in the ring with their new gear, like the full black on Starlight Kid with the touches of purple and the white with navy on Saori Anou, and they just look glorious. And they're ready to do battle.
My God.
And do battle they did.
My God. They both needed this so badly.
They really did.
Saori Anou needed this signature win to really show us what her Wonder Run's going to be like.
Yes. And that she's capable of handling that pressure of being champion.
Starlight Kid's career has been one that you would imagine was made for the Wonder Belt.
Yeah. She's definitely meant for it in some capacity.
So this was one after the year Starlight had last year, which
poor baby.
She did terrible in the 5-star.
She had a horrible year, honestly.
Yeah, she did terrible in the 5-star, and even leading up to that, she didn't get to have the match with Mayu Iwatani because of injury.
She was taken out of the Goddess Tag League because of injury.
The match with Mayu would have been the one at the end, the last day of the 5-star.
Yes.
That they kind of have every year, and she's been building up to try to win that and surpass her mentor, her senpai, and that didn't get to happen. And then, yes, the injury, it was terrible for her. It was really bad, and she went from being kind of the face of the place to being forgotten for the most part. And, so this was big. This was huge.
It was. And we saw this theme with Starlight throughout the 5-star specifically, where her just frustration with the way things were going kept getting in her way. She kept getting in her own way and kind of self-sabotaging a little bit because she would get so upset during the course of a match that she hadn't gotten the win or that she wasn't on top already. And that would lead to her losing the match. And so that carried on like throughout the end of 2023, where she just kept trying to get these things done and she couldn't, and it would just felt so deflating.
Yeah, it's something you always pointed out that, if she didn't get so frustrated, she might have won that. And even in this match, Raja's like, don't.
She started to go there.
But this match was fun. This match is 100 out of 100.
Oh man. And the reason Starlight got to that point is because she did everything. She threw triple star suplex at Saori.
Yeah.
She did all 3 versions of the Black Tiger leg kill.
Yeah.
And she still could not get the win. And she was so mad. But it took everything out of her, and it took everything out of Sariano. Like, she threw the book at her. Sariano was not on top the entire match.
No.
She had to work for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it ended up with her doing her own suplex hold with the bridge on Starlight Kid to get the win. And it was kind of sudden and like just trying to get it done so that they could end this match.
It was an amazing match.
It was.
And back and forth, as you put, they both could have won at any moment.
Mm-hmm. And we were holding our breath a few times. And we were like, oh,
I
maybe
don't think
it.
that you have a loser in this match.
No.
So I really think that Starlight showed in this match exactly who she is.
Yeah.
And, the one cool thing at the end of it, number one, Starlight did kind of keep her cool.
She did there in the end.
But Starlight did the handshake of sort with the Sariano.
And she held out her hand first.
Yes.
To touch Sariano's hand. And it was very different from the Starlight Kid that we saw the last time she challenged for the white belt, where she was just completely like throwing a fit from her loss. And she went backstage and she was like, fine with it. Like, she was like, this is the year that things are going to change for me, and I'm going to come back and make my way back up to this title. And
she said she will win the white belt before the year's over.
Yeah, and it was very much a more mature, very level-headed Starlight Kid, which I think is going to do wonderful things for her this year.
I think we had 2, like the semi and the main, I think are telling similar stories for the challengers.
Yeah.
I really do. And I think it'll be interesting to see how they interact as it goes. Because I believe both of them are kind of on the same spiritual journey.
Yeah. Same trajectory.
2 people that really should have been, arguably. Two people that are top of the page.
Yeah.
People that have both faced adversity.
They are.
And coming back from that, like, where does that put you? And so it's incredible, just built-in story that I really think that they're subtly playing on.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful thing to see, honestly. And that brings us into the main event where Maiko was defending the World of Stardom Championship against Saya Kamitani, who, for all intents and purposes, seemed like was on a trajectory to win it all last year, before getting injured on the first night of the 5-star Grand Prix. So I think she came into this match very much with a chip on her shoulder.
Oh, a little bit.
Trying to show that she still got it. She's still capable of being that top star that she was like going towards before her injury.
Right.
Maiko was here to prove that she belongs in this spot, that she got kind of by circumstance, like because of all the injuries that happened, she was able to get to this spot in the roster as the champion. And I think a lot of people question that. So of course Maiko wants to prove that she can beat someone like Saya Kamitani and be the rightful champion and be the one that Stardom follows and carry that on her back.
Yeah.
And that very much came through in this match. And of course there was a lot of like Maika targeting Saya's arm and Saya trying to hit her 3 phoenixes throughout the course of the match.
Yeah.
Which she got the first 2. She got the shine and the strike, but that phoenix splash just evaded her.
Did not happen, and that's what she called for. Maika has a very Maika moveset, right?
Yes.
And you know what you're going to get with her.
Mm-hmm. Very strong style moveset there.
But at the same time, I know that the red belt's not bigger than the white belt, right? Mm-hmm. They've always said that. They mean different things.
They do.
Red belt's for the, just a big champion fight, whatever. And the white belt's the heart and soul of Stardom.
Yeah.
So, but if you take that BS out, The white belt is the Intercontinental title, and the red belt's the world title.
Yes.
And if you look at the white belt as the workers title, the red belt very much is the just heavy hitter main event.
The big machismo title.
So, and it feels that way right now.
Yeah.
Especially.
Yeah.
Right? You have this mystical worker and as the white belt, and you have the bruiser with the red belt. But this, as I was talking about, Saya Kamatani, again, hearsay, they were going to do this, they were going to do that, according to this guy, according to that girl, but Saya Kamatani it was her year. She was going to end up on top.
Being the one, yes.
And, and that was before the stuff with Suzu and all that. And it all led to that. So one thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. We are where we are. And I think right now, Saya Kamatani comes back and finds all these people that were lower to mid card when she went down, and all the other girls went down, and they have ascended.
Yeah, she's like, what is happening?
Because they had to go out there and work night after night after night after night and try to pull these crowds in, sometimes to half houses.
Yeah.
They had to go out there and still keep going and keep working.
Yeah.
And because of that, they will obviously be in the fans' eyes as the people, right? And I think that's cool. I think that
it is.
I think it's cool, and I think it's good for anybody in life, in wrestling, whatever, to sometimes have to face adversity. And
because it shows what you're made of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gives you the chance to prove yourself.
Between Saya Kamatani and Starlight Kid last night, if you were to ask me which one is the baby face that's going to, ascend and make it back and get that goal, I would tell you Starlight.
Yeah.
Because Saya Kamatani, as you said, came in with that chip on the shoulder to start this match.
Yes.
Micah seemed a little closed, a little tight, a little nervous maybe.
Right.
Because she knows, as a big fan of pro wrestling, in Japan, she knows this is what they're going to judge my entire run off of.
Yeah.
And I've got to do
Am I going to even be able to do one defense
she's always
and have a run?
She's always been a bridesmaid, and she wanted to get past this match.
Yeah, she's a faction leader now. Like, she's got big shoes to fill.
And I'm talking kayfabe or not right now. Even on the not kayfabe level, when you're coming out there to do your first defense.
Yeah.
On a pay-per-view main event in Osaka, of all places. Some of the finickiest people, think of Osaka as Montreal, or think of Osaka as Philadelphia.
Right.
It's very much that for Japanese.
It is.
And
they just do whatever they want.
They do whatever they want, and with the respect of Japanese people, whatever they want might be they're like, maybe they clap harder.
Yeah.
Whatever. But Micah came out. And I think she passed all. I think she checked the boxes, man.
She did. Like, we're used to the Micah match, but there were things she did in this, like grabbing Saya out of the air and powerballing her. Like, that's just crazy.
Awesome spot.
Oh, it was so good. But she did manage to get like 3 Michinoku driver 2s on her in the end to grab the win and remain the red belt champion.
Did it almost seem, I don't want to say anticlimactic. I know we had just seen maybe what will at the end of the year be one of my match of the years.
Yes, it was difficult. It was going to be difficult for anyone to follow that Sariano Starlight Kid match.
Or the 3 before that.
Yeah, or like the high speed match, the 8-man, like leading up to this main event, that was a lot of emotional like matches and roller coasters.
On its own though, I still think that Micah won that pretty convincingly.
She did. Yeah, I agree. And I'm kind of glad that she's getting this chance to show more of what she's made of. But she's got her biggest test coming up because she just blatantly called out Tam Nakano at the end of this and was like, I guess she thinks that beating Tam Nakano is the way to prove that she's the rightful champion because Tam never lost that belt in a match.
So what do you think there though? Because I think that you don't do that. I think it's a mistake. I think that was brought on by having the faction that you have, right? To have a co-faction leader with such a connection to Tam.
Yeah.
The Mina Shirakawa, she's probably, I mean, you want to be able to beat Tam.
Yeah.
To have that follower.
To be like, look, I beat your old leader.
Right, yeah. And
it might be Micah biting off more than she can chew, honestly.
We've seen Tam Nakano go to hell.
Oh, man. I still think about her and Julia, and I'm just like, nope.
I mean, think about her and Julia. Don't about her. Face her. Think about her and Poi. Think about her. Think about some of these matches that we've seen.
Man. She takes it to another level.
It's incredible.
And I don't know if Micah's ready.
Think
for
about
that.
Mirai. I mean, some of these matches that we've seen.
Her and Megan.
Yeah.
She beat Megan.
Yeah.
Like, why would you want to call her out?
I honestly, okay. Look, so. Micah may be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had to put money on it,
right,
I would say Micah's going to be a one defense champion.
Back in Tam Nakano all the way.
All the way.
She looked so good in her return.
I mean, I think she is the woman. I really do. It was funny because we always were big Julia fans, or we were big this fan, big that fan. And we got to the point, because we have this old like Shawn Michaels joke, for whoever Shawn's facing, right? That what's your favorite match? What's your favorite Vader match you ever seen? Oh, it's this one. Or what's your favorite this match? And we do that with Bret Hart. We do that with Ric Flair. We do that with all the amazing workers of all time.
Yeah,
because they have a way of elevating and making the opponent look amazing.
Yes,
we did that last year, and we love it the most when we don't realize it until a few matches in. We didn't dislike Tam Nakano.
No, but we didn't go in like, all hail Tam Nakano.
Yeah, because we were always for the opponent. Like, if you think about it, we were huge Natsupoi fans.
Yes, huge Julia fans.
Huge Julia fans, right? We've always been a big fan of the other person.
Right.
And
then you sit back and think, and you're like, huh.
Yeah.
Some of the best matches I saw all year were Tam Nakano matches.
Well, and it's funny, what really got me thinking about it is when they were talking about her for like wrestler of the year or person of the year, and I'm like, wait a second, what about this or what about that? And then I'm thinking, oh, Jesus, they all had like their signature match with Tam.
Yeah. She's special.
So Tam is the woman.
She is. And I'm always excited to see her. And when a wrestler makes their return in a tag match, fairly low on the card, and still just wows you, like, she's special.
Yeah,
and she just has something.
She has something.
And I don't know if Micah's ready to overcome that dragon.
See, Tam to me is early on. Tam is what made me love Stardom. Okay. We don't pretend that we started watching Stardom in 2013.
Right.
We got into Stardom very specifically. We were some of the biggest, I mean, I will say that about NJPW. I mean, we've got connections and, we love Japanese wrestling.
Yes.
But as far as specifically Stardom, at first it was a lot of Tam, a lot of, really getting pulled into the Tam Natsupoi matches.
Yes.
And, especially like your cage match and all that,
It was around that time, yes.
And it was the emotion was what pulled us in. If you remember, it was like.
It was, yeah.
The, after the match, as much as the match with the physicality and the stiffness, and it's like, holy shit, these girls are killing each other. But then after the match, the hand on the cheek.
Yeah, the tears.
The tears, the deep look in the eyes.
Just them looking so beat up and but they only care about the other person.
They can show each other. The camera can go from one face back to the opponent's face for 5 minutes.
Yeah, but nothing's said, and we're just like so drawn in.
Yeah, so drawn into it.
Tam's an expert at that.
I think Tam is Stardom. I know.
She's like the epitome of Joshi.
Yeah.
She's the spirit of Joshi.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that she's got several people from the past, in that.
Yeah.
That makes it.
I'm so glad she's back.
So it's, I'm very excited about it. And
now we just need Poi back.
It's so funny because Raja and I are so into the All Japan, and we'll
watch it as often as we can.
You'll hear about stuff coming up. Some of the, as big as we were into like Chigusa and stuff, when we found out that there was the 70s, oh my God. I can't say it or I'll get the song in my head. That
The beauty pair.
I mean, we didn't know about the beauty pair.
No, but then we heard the song and it was just all we were singing for like
and it's just amazing.
weeks.
You know, I love Joshi. I love the fact that you've got with Stardom, you know, they didn't go through the diva era.
Yeah.
And I believe that we got set back in American professional wrestling for women.
Yeah.
During that time period, we got set back decades.
Yeah.
And, you know, because if you go to like the mid 90s, you see Medusa coming freshly over from Japan, and, you know, AEW, Lord, AWA, she was in, and then she, you know, made her run to Japan.
Right.
Coming back over and bringing some of the ladies from Japan and having the Bull Nakano and all this stuff over here. You know, that was a different level. She didn't have a lot of opponents, but it was still amazing matches that, hell, I stole moves from when I started wrestling.
It's so wild the direction women's wrestling took in America from those amazing matches, and just sharply downhill.
It was honestly the Attitude Era of WWF, because they didn't really have women's wrestling on WCW for the most part at all. But in WWF, they started with the Divas and the Sunnies and the Sables and all that. And that turned into, well, let's have them do a match, pal. And, you know, and so we ended up with the women's champions and stuff. And there was occasionally someone like an Ivory who would still do bra and panty stuff, but that's not really her MO.
Right.
Molly Holly, you know, you can think of the ones that are still like considered top workers. Right. You know, and icons, they weren't really that way, but so many just models off the street.
Right. And Japan definitely did not take that route.
No.
They were like, we're just kicking each other's butt over here.
Yeah, no, you keep going with like Gaia girls, you know what I mean? Just murdering each other.
Absolutely.
And, you know, LLPW, just amazing stuff. And it makes me happy and it makes me sad at the same time for, you know, different reasons, but that's why we have something like Stardom.
Yes, and we, like, our love for Joshi just permeates everything. Like, one of the best things we did for Christmas was open a box of 2023 BBM trading cards.
Oh my God.
For the Joshi wrestlers.
We're still waiting on Raj's birthday of that too.
Yeah, we want to finish the set.
Yeah, we got some more coming in, but, you know, and the All Japan cards.
Yes, and the 94 All Japan women's cards. Yes. They're so cool.
Just, you know, it's I love it, and we hope you love it as much, and and all women's wrestling, actually.
Yes, and so everything crazy has been going on. We've got some crazy stuff coming up as well. The Cinderella tournament starting soon. It's going from March 9th to March 20th. So that's going to be a lot of fun to talk about and cover and watch just in general. We talked about February 23rd, the New Beginning in Sapporo match between Mina and Mayu Utani, which is a huge deal. We got the announcement that All-Star Grand Queendom 2024 will be happening on April 27th. So that's always an exciting show. And maybe one of the most exciting things that Stardom has announced for us personally is on April 4th, they will be having Stardom American Dream 2024 in the Keystone State, which means Stardom is coming to America to Philadelphia on WrestleMania weekend.
So, Raja.
Yes?
Who else is going to Stardom in America in Philadelphia?
Oh, I think that would be you and I are going to Stardom in America.
That's right. That's right. Little fist bump.
Oh, yeah. We as soon as we heard that, honestly, we were like, oh, well, I guess we're driving to Philadelphia.
Yeah. It's only...
You can't miss Stardom in America.
No.
Oh, so excited.
At the ECW arena.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so pumped. I cannot wait.
So I've been there, but I got to park with the boys.
Yeah.
Because I was with the boys.
This will be a little different.
Yeah. So when I was at ECW arena, it was for a New Japan show. And definitely, because I did a promo back there for our wrestling.
Yes.
And because I had to. Because we were at the ECW arena, and I'm like... Dude, I'm going to do a promo here.
Have evidence.
I mean, it was so cool, and actually got a little cameo from, I think, is Jay White not in my promo? Like,
he very well may have been.
I think he's in the back of a car or something, because I know that we got, was it Tong? Which one was it? I forget.
Probably Tongaloa.
I think
guess.
I think it was Tongaloa because him and Chase are so close.
Yeah.
And but a lot of the boys were back there. And,
oh yeah, it was cool times.
But it was like guarded, So that's my experience, is being able to walk in the back door and not have to worry about anything on the street.
That will not be your experience this time.
I have
sorry.
a feeling this will be more like our experiences at the White Eagle Hall or whatever.
We're like going to Portland, Maine.
Jesus Lord. No, not even that one. What's the one down in Massachusetts? Because Beyond Wrestling's
every time we drove down there.
Yeah, American Rana.
Yeah, it was like Worcester, Mass.
Yeah, remember there was like fentanyl stuff on the ground.
Yeah, we were like, just ignore that.
Yeah,
that was such a good show. Though.
Oh, it was worth
Standing room only. We were like, hell yeah.
It was worth the needles.
Oh yeah, and this is worth going to any city. Honestly, seeing Stardom live and in person is gonna be mind blowing.
And we'll give you the full. I mean, that's going to get the full treatment. That's
there's going to be videos and everything.
There'll be videos on the way. There'll be videos there. We'll see what we can come up with.
I might not come back alive. I don't know yet.
Well, don't say that.
I can't. I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle it.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. We're very excited about it. We got really good seats too. So
yes, we're
not that far back.
No,
and
it's perfect.
I have
level.
a good feeling if you see someone glowing in the crowd, that'll be Raja.
I'm just trying to get Utami's attention. It's fine. Just ignore me.
Yeah. It's going to be something, man. And tickets are almost gone.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
So
can't wait.
It's going to be fun.
So this has been a pretty successful comeback show, I think. And we've covered all the craziness and wonderfulness that has been going on in women's wrestling. And from now on, you will be hearing from us every single week. We will be releasing shows on Mondays every week, so look out for that. You can listen to it on your commute to work. You can hear all about the fun and wonderful world of women's wrestling. So thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms at Wrestling Is Her, wherever you like to social media. I'm Raja. He's John. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time on